Good evening, America First and MAGA Patriots. Welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez, looking gorgeous out there. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House, of course, Thursday, December 11th, 7:46 Eastern Time. Thanks so much for live streaming in with us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Now, at 8:15, the president delivers remarks at the Congressional Ball. That will take place inside the Grand Foyer of the White House. We'll have that coverage here for you in just a bit. Also, speaking of the president, a bit of breaking news tonight. The commander-in-chief posting on Truth Social that, quote, Democrats have been relentless in their targeting of Tina Peters, a patriot who simply wanted to make sure that our elections were fair and honest. The president says Tina is sitting in a Colorado prison for the quote-unquote crime of demanding honest elections. The president says, today I'm granting Tina a full pardon for her attempts to expose voter fraud in the rigged 2020 presidential elections. Now, that's the end quote there from the president. So, pardoning Tina Peters. Now, she's pardoned from any federal charges, but she still has state charges. So, as Nick Sorter so rightly put it, Peters is still in the custody of the state of Colorado, and Governor Polis should immediately order her release. So we'll see what the governor does there in Colorado. But we know that President Trump, just about an hour ago, has pardoned Tina Peters. It's something that you guys have heard a lot of, free Tina Peters. Well, that's definitely something that we want to see for those that are on the right side of history, so she could be set free there in Colorado. Meantime, earlier today, at the start of the White House press briefing, Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt highlighted and gave updates on the economy, energy, and border security. Unfortunately, these are some policies that Democrats can actually reverse with a new president. So we're looking forward to more wins in 2026, including in the midterms and in that general election in 2028. But still, it's just 2025, so day at a time. But let's keep winning. Earlier today, the president participated in a signing ceremony. So let's take a look at that right here live on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Well, thank you very much. We have a big signing right now, and we have a tremendous industry where we're leading by a lot. It's the AI, artificial intelligence. I always thought it should be SI, supreme intelligence, but I guess somewhere along the line they decided on the word artificial, and that's okay with me. That's up to them. It's a massive industry. We're leading China. We're leading everybody by a tremendous amount. The electricity is being built by them in every plant. They're building the electricity. We're getting them rapid approvals. But they're spending trillions of dollars, and they can't, basically this has a couple of other things that are less important, but one of the things that it has is you have to have a central source of approval. When they need approvals on things, they have to come to one source. They can't go to California, New York, and various other places like Illinois with Pritzker, who's, a totally unreasonable person. And they have to have, they're putting all this money in. It's a big part of the economy. And there's only going to be, I think, one winner here. I don't know if anybody agrees with that. I think most people agree. But there's only going to be one winner here, and that's probably going to be the U.S. or China. And right now we're winning by a lot. China has a central source of approval. I don't think they have any approval. They just go and build. But people want to be in the United States, and they want to do it here. And we have the big investment coming. But if they had to get 50 different approvals from 50 different states, you could forget it, because it's not possible to do, especially if you have some hostile. All you need is one hostile actor, and you wouldn't be able to do it. So it doesn't make sense. I didn't have to be briefed on this, by the way. This is real easy business. I mean, this is simple. We're taking in trillions of dollars. We're taking in tremendous amounts of countries, jobs, everything's coming in. Now, just to get off AI for a second, auto plants are being built at levels that we've just about never seen before. Our auto industry was decimated. 56% of our auto industry left our country over the years. It was at one point 100%, and then it got shriveled down, and really we lost a lot. And now, because of tariffs, which have been so incredible, we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're bringing back our factories. We're bringing back everything. We've never been in a position like this. Our stock market today was, well, I saw it a few hours ago, but a few hours ago it was way up, and we hit a new high for the 52nd time in 10 months, we have an all-time high stock market. And it's all reasons. A big reason was the election November 5th, and another big reason, and maybe the biggest reason, but maybe not, because without the election this wouldn't have been done because people don't know how to do it. The second reason is the tariffs. We're charging countries that were really hurting us badly, were really decimating us. Hence we have $38 trillion in debt, which we'll start paying off pretty soon with the tariff money coming in. But countries that were really decimating us used tariffs against us. Now we're using tariffs. All we want is fair. All we want is national security. It's given us great national security. I settled 8 wars, and numerous of them was because of trade and because of tariffs. So we're very happy with that. But this is about something a little bit different. We want to have one central source of approval, and we have, I think, great Republican support. I think we probably have Democrat support too, because it's common sense. I mean, you can't go to every time you make a change, and it could be a very reasonable change, you still won't get it approved if you have to go to 50 states. So this centralizes it, and it's something which the people behind me, the very distinguished people, all, but Tim Cook just left of Apple and spoke to all of the big companies, great companies, and they won't be able to do this. This will not be successful unless they have one source of approval, or disapproval, frankly. You could have disapproval too, but it's got to be one source. They can't go to 50 different sources. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. And Will, what would you like to add to that?
Sure. Mr. President, as you said, in keeping with your commitment to grow the American economy, create potentially millions of new American jobs, and maintain America's technological and military superiority in the years ahead, this is an executive order that orders aspects of your administration to take decisive action to ensure that AI can operate within a single national framework in this country, as opposed to being subject to state-level regulation that could potentially cripple the industry. David Sachs, your AI and crypto czar, has been one of the key players and key authors behind this EO. He can give you more of the granular detail, but the big picture is that we're taking steps to ensure that AI operates under a single national standard, so that we can reap the benefits that will come from it in terms of economic growth, job development, national security, and technological edge.
And it's really the biggest industry that anybody's seen. I mean, it's taking off. And again, I believe there'll only be one country that really benefits, and it should be the United States. And it will be if we do this, if we're unified. We have to be unified. China is unified because they have one vote. That's President Xi. He says do it, and that's the end of that. You know, we have a different system, but we have a system that's good, but we only have a system that's good if it's smart. David Sachs, could you say a few words, please?
Yes, sir. So, as you pointed out, we have over 1,000 bills going through state legislatures right now to regulate AI. Over 100 of them have already passed. 25% of them are in California, New York, and Illinois. You've got 50 states running in 50 different directions. It just doesn't make sense. We're creating a confusing patchwork of regulation. And what we need is a single federal standard. And that's what the CEO says, sir, is it basically states that the policy of your administration is to create that federal framework. We're going to work with Congress, like the chairman here of the Commerce Committee, Senator Cruz, and other members of Congress to define that framework. In the meantime, this EO gives your administration tools to push back on the most onerous and excessive state regulations. We're not going to push back on all of them. For example, kid safety, we're going to protect. We're not pushing back on that. But we're going to push back on the most onerous examples of state regulations, sir.
So I spoke with other Republican senators, and we have great approval. I think I spoke to anybody that even had any question and seemed to have gotten approval. Ted Cruz has been a very strong advocate of common. This is common sense. I mean, I think it's nothing more than common sense. Please, Ted.
Listen, this is the single most important economic question in the country and in the world. Who wins the race for AI? You look back to the 1990s, there was a similar inflection point with the beginning of the internet, the dawn of the internet. And Bill Clinton was president at the time. He signed an executive order, just like you're doing, that put into law a light touch regulatory approach to the internet. And the result was incredible economic growth and jobs in the United States. At the same time, the European Union took a very heavy-handed regulatory approach. Here's an amazing statistic, Mr. President. In 1993, the U.S. economies and Europe's economy were virtually identical in size. Today, America's economy is more than 50% larger than Europe's, and the two drivers of that are tech and the shale revolution. It transformed this country, and AI is the same thing. It's a race, and if China wins the race, whoever wins, the values of that country will affect all of AI. We don't want China's values of surveillance and centralized control by the communist government governing AI. We want American values of free speech, of individual liberty, of respecting the individual. So this executive order, I believe, is tremendously important. Thank you for your leadership.
Well, thank you very much. And Scott, please.
Yes, sir. This is pass-fail. As you said, this is the biggest technological innovation in our country's history. We've seen the canals, we've seen the railroads, we've seen the utilities, we've seen the build out of the internet and the fiber, and now it's AI, and it is pass-fail versus China. We have the lead, we've got to maintain it, and it is also going to be the single biggest source of economic growth. But everything else we do, with our defense, there's no use in having a golden dome if China's AI can get around it. There's no use in spending all this money on defense. And the U.S. will remain the leader in this under President Trump's leadership. He has accelerated the growth. We're actually going to move ahead further. We're seeing building everywhere, construction jobs. There are going to be jobs at the AI data centers. And most importantly, President Trump had the incredible idea to allow the companies to create their own power. And we are going to see soon that communities near AI facilities will have the same or lower electric cost than other communities, which is a great innovation. So this is an important document today.
Do you have any questions?
On this subject, President Trump, are you more worried about the U.S. winning the race for AI dominance with China or about AI's potential threat to humanity?
Both. We're looking at that very strongly. We have a lot of threats in the opposite way if we don't do it. You look at the medical and medical research. Already the things that have come out of AI in terms of medical and cancer research and things, we're way ahead of what we ever thought we'd be, just from the infancy of AI. So really both, and we want to be very careful with it. We also know that a big part of our economy, it could be 50, 60% of our economy going forward, for a period of time at least, especially during the startup, is AI and AI-based. We have trillions of dollars of construction going on, and that construction would stop, or it would certainly be, a lot of it would be halted. So, look, we're leading China. We're leading China by a lot. China knows that, and not doing this would be the greatest gift to China and other countries, but China in particular, that China has ever received.
And with Venezuela, now that we've seized this tanker, is the campaign against Venezuela still just about drugs, or is it now also about oil?
Well, it's about a lot of things, but one of the things it's about is the fact that they've allowed millions of people to come into our country from their prisons, from gangs, from drug dealers, and from mental institutions, probably proportionately more than anybody else. They came in from many countries. We're getting them out. We had 11,888 murderers come into our country. Many of them are from Venezuela. We had thousands of Tren de Aragua, the gang, come in from, which they say is the most violent gang. I don't know. MS-13 is pretty bad, but Tren de Aragua, they say, is the most violent gang. That comes from the prisons of Venezuela. It came out of the prisons of Venezuela. So it has to do with a lot of things. They've treated us badly, and I guess now we're not treating them so good. If you look at the drug traffic by sea is down 92%. And nobody can figure out who the 8% is, because I have no idea. Anybody getting involved in that right now is not doing well. And we'll start that on land, too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon. Thank you, Peter.
Mr. President, in Indiana, just a few moments ago, the Senate there rejected the congressional maps to redistrict in that state. A number of Republicans voted against that redistricting effort. You have spent a lot of time talking about this. The Vice President traveled to Indiana. What's your reaction?
Well, we won every other state. That's the only state. It's funny because I won Indiana all 3 times by a landslide, and I wasn't working on it very hard. Would have been nice. I think we would have picked up 2 seats if we did that. You had one gentleman, the head of the Senate, I guess, Bray, whatever his name is. I heard he was against it. He'll probably lose his next primary, whenever that is. I hope he does, but because he's done a tremendous disservice. I mean, think of it. It's a great place. I love the people there. They love me. You know, we won in a landslide all 3 times. Got tremendous votes. I got record votes. And then there's no reason for doing that. And the Democrats do it to us, so I can't imagine that they do it. But I wasn't very much involved. But there's a man named Bray, as I guess, head of the Senate. Was that Bray? Is that the name? Bray? I mean, I'm sure that whenever his primary is, it's, I think, in 2 years, but I'm sure he'll go down. He'll go down. I'll certainly support anybody that wants to go against him.
I'm going to ask you briefly
Sure.
on AI and then a question on Ukraine. On the AI side, the flip side of what you've done today is what kind of agreements you can get with China, particularly on the national security threats posed by AI. During the Biden administration, there was a vague agreement on not using AI in the nuclear weapons complex. Tell us what you envision and what conversations you've had, if any, with President Xi on that topic.
Well, relative to AI?
Yes.
I speak to him a lot about it. I speak to him a lot, actually. I have a very good relationship with him, as you know. If you had another president, you would have had a big rare earth problem, and it turned out not to be a problem. They're purchasing tremendous amounts of the soybeans and our agricultural products now. We're getting along with them very well. No, we talk about AI quite a bit. We talk about everything quite a bit.
Well, do you have specific?
No, one of the things one of the things I talk to China about is the denuclearization of weapons. We'd like to see if we could stop that. I'm talking about nuclear weapons. I've spoken to China about that. I've spoken to Russia about that. And I think it would be something that we would want to do, and they would like to do, and I think Russia would like to do.
They said they won't join you to start or a follow-on.
Well, that's what they've told you, but you know what they tell you is different than what they tell you.
And I'm Ukraine, Mr. President, just briefly. You made a commitment to the Europeans back in July, if I remember right, to participate in some kind of a peacekeeping force should there be a peace agreement. You mentioned, I think, air support, intelligence, and so forth. Does that commitment still stand? Is the U.S. ready to go contribute to
It's
this?
called the security agreement, basically, that they call it, the security agreement. Yeah, we would help. We would help with security because it's, I think, a necessary factor in getting it done. I thought that we were very close with Russia to having a deal. I thought we were very close with Ukraine to having a deal. In fact, other than President Zelensky, his people loved the concept of the deal. You know, we threw something out.
This is the 4-part deal that you...
Well, there's 4 or 5 different parts. It's, you know, a little bit complicated because you're cutting up land in a certain way. It's not the easiest thing. It's sort of like a complex real estate deal times 1,000, right? But it's a deal that would have stopped the killing of thousands of lives every month. Thousands and thousands of lives, mostly soldiers, but as you know, there's some bombs being dropped.
Is this sort of a career-linked ceasefire that we don't resolve?
Well, there's a meeting on Saturday. We'll see whether or not we attend the meeting. We said we'll attend the meeting if you think there's a good chance of they want me to attend. They want us to attend. And we'll be attending the meeting on Saturday in Europe if we think there's a good chance. And we don't want to waste a lot of time. We think it's negative. We want it to get settled. We want to save a lot of lives. As you know, in the past we spent could be $350 billion given it to Ukraine. You know, we got nothing in return, but we gave it to Ukraine. I ended up getting rare earth in return, even though I didn't spend money. And we are now selling weapons to NATO. We're not selling it to Ukraine. We're selling weapons at full price to NATO, as you know. They distribute those weapons probably to Ukraine for the most part. They're probably doing it to others also, but we're not involved in the war other than the fact that we are involved in a negotiation because people want us there. Ukraine wants us involved very much. Europe wants us involved. I have a great relationship with the countries of Europe. As you know, I took GDP. I took what they're spending as a percentage of GDP, but it was at 2 and they weren't paying, and now it's at 5, and everybody's amazed. But that 5% is a lot of it's coming back to the United States. With that being said, I'd like to see the killing stop. 25,000 people died last month, soldiers, mostly soldiers, but some people also where bombs were dropped. But for the most part, 25,000 soldiers died last month. I would love to see it stop. And we're working very hard. It doesn't really affect the United States unless it got out of control. You know, a thing like that, as you probably know, because you are a professional, a real professional, which is something I don't say about a lot of other people, but you are a great professional. Things like this end up in third world wars. And I told that the other day. I said, you know, everybody keeps playing games like this. You'll end up in a third world war, and we don't want to see that happen.
Mr. President, can you confirm that you have appointed a general to lead the stabilization forces in Gaza? What will be his mission, and how soon do you want to see?
Well, we're working very strongly on Gaza. Yeah, we're working very much on Gaza. We actually do have a real peace in the Middle East. We have 59 countries supporting it, which is, you know, never happened before. We have countries that want to come in and take care of Hamas, as an example. We have countries that want to come in and take care of Hezbollah in Lebanon, as an example. And I say, right now you don't have to do that. You may have to do that, but we have countries that are volunteering to come in and literally take care of the whole thing. We have a great peace in the Middle East. It's never happened before. And I think it's very strong, actually.
And with Prime Minister Netanyahu, you're supposed to meet him in the what's on the
Well, we get along with him very well. He's been a wartime prime minister, certainly. We did a big thing when we went in with this very plane right here, this beautiful plane. We went in with those B-2s, and now I can use the word because it's been confirmed by the Atomic Energy Commission, we obliterated their nuclear capability, their potential. And their nuclear capability would have been there in about 2 months. I think it looked like it was, some people say 2 weeks. I don't know if it's 2 weeks, but a very short period of time. They were very close to having massive nuclear weapons. And these guys went in and they did a job. And that made peace possible because everybody was afraid of Iran. And now they're not afraid of Iran anymore. And Iran would like to make a deal with us.
Your own national security strategy does not say obliterate, sir. It says
I said
set them back. Your intro does.
Well, the Atomic Energy Commission said obliterated, and the people that have seen the site said obliterated. And frankly, Iran said it was obliterated. And to show you how accurate it was, and you know, I fight for the pilots because the pilots and those people went in there at great risk, and they hit every single target on every single bomb. And they did a lot of damage. And for them to be given anything less than 100% of the credit is unfair. So I will tell you, the Atomic Energy Commission said it's like gonzo. It's one person actually used the term obliterated. But Iran actually said that they probably can never go there again. They can probably never start there again. If they ever started, they'd probably choose a new site. But regardless, we took out the Iran nuclear site with great talent. No other country could have done that. No other country has weapons like we did, but no other country could have done that. We have the best weapons in the world. We have the best military in the world. And when we took out Iran, that allowed for peace. There's no way that, and I really have great respect for the King of Saudi Arabia, for the Emir. I'm friend with UAE. These are great people. These are actually great people and great leaders. There's no way they could have done a deal if Iran was not really nullified to a large extent. Iran is not the same country. Iran was a country that was feared by everybody. Now it's a country that's been very much downgraded. I'm sure they'll try and come back, and they're very capable people. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
They are
But
reconstituting their missile program quite quickly.
well, you know, they can try, but it's going to take them a long time to come back. But if they do want to come back, and they want to come back without a deal, then we're going to obliterate that one too. You know, we can knock out their missiles very quickly. We have great power, and we helped Israel a lot. We were shooting down the drones. We were doing a lot of things for Israel. We did a good job for Israel, but Israel did a good job. They fought, and they all fought bravely. Look, that's a war. That's a vicious war. They're all vicious wars. When you write, hey, you covered a lot of wars. They're all vicious. We never saw a nice one, right? They're all vicious. But that was a big fight. But the big thing was the knockout of the possible nuclear capability. And it was a complete knockout of nuclear capability. That doesn't mean that over the next 2 years or 3 years, they're not going to come back or not going to try. I think they got hit so hard, they may talk about trying, but I don't think they want to try. And I can tell you that they would love to be able to make a deal with me. They would love to be able to make a deal with me. And I'd love to make a deal with them if we could. You know, we were not close, but not so close, but we were reasonably there for a deal with Iran before the bombing. And they would have been much better off if they made a deal. They could have had a deal. They could have had a deal where they would have been much better off. Look at what we've done. I mean, their place is blown up. Forget about the nuclear. The nuclear is gone, but look at the damage they've suffered, the death that they've suffered. They could have had a deal with nobody would have died, no buildings would have been down, nothing would have happened. We would have blown up their nuclear. That would have been it. They could have had a great deal. But they missed that opportunity. But they would like to make a deal right now. Iran would like to make a deal with me.
Mr. President.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Do you think the Senate should confirm your nominee for Religious Freedom Ambassador, Mark Walker, in time for Christmas, as you know, a Christmas gift to Christians around the world?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've heard good things about Mark. Why is something come up that I don't know about?
Well, he was nominated in April, and he still hasn't received even a.
Well, I'd like to see him. I mean, I'm hearing very good things about him. So I thought by asking that question, you know, something new came up. You know, there's breaking news about Mark Walker. No, yeah, I'd like to see him. I've always found him to be a high quality person. Yeah, I'd like to see that happen. I will say John Thune, though, has done a good job. He's approved. He's gotten hundreds of people approved. You know, we have a roadblock with the Democrats. They're just obstructionists, that's all. That's all they're good at is obstructing. They're not good at creating. They're only good at obstructing and wanting open borders and men and women's sports and transgender, all things that transgender for everybody, all things that people don't want. And they're obstructionists. You know, they're doing that with health care. We have a great health care proposal where we pay all of the hundreds of billions of dollars that the insurance companies have been making. You know, their stock is up 1,700%. And by the way, the stock market today hit another high. 52 times we hit a high in a 10-month period. That's during my second presidency. And it's been amazing. Nobody's seen anything like it. You know, we had the greatest economy in history in my first term. I think we're blowing it away right now. I think we're blowing it away. And again, prices were the highest they ever were. Inflation was the highest in 48 years, or I think ever. They say 48 years. The press says 48 years. I'll accept that, but I think it was the highest inflation we've ever had under the past administration. We had the highest prices. We have high inflation, you have high prices. Prices are coming way down. Energy's coming way down. Gasoline is hitting now $1.99 in a couple of states, and it's way down. Gasoline is way down. And when gasoline and energy comes down, everything follows. But prices are coming down, and we have an unbelievable economy. 401ks are setting a record. 401ks that's owned by a lot of people because they're based on the stock market. And the stock market for 52nd time has just hit a brand new high. So it's amazing what's happening. And I will say this, our country is respected again. I think we're respected like never before. The United States is respected again. We have a country that was a dead country 1 year ago, dead. And now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, press.
Nice
Thank
to-
you.
You can call.
Thank you, press. Let's go. Let's go.
Let me know.
Thank you, press. Let's go.
You can
Thank
call
you,
me.
press.
Call you? Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Yeah.
press. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, Peter.
Moving, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Oh, yeah, we're going to sign. Let's get a picture. Come on. Oh, he's going to sign it. Let's get a good picture. Pulitzer Prize. This is going to be a Pulitzer Prize picture.
Absolutely.
Let's give him the Pulitzer Prize. He's in that. Do you like this guy?
Oh, yeah,
I do.
absolutely.
Everybody likes Albert, right?
Yeah.
No auto pen necessary. That's a whole big deal, isn't it? Well, what's that all about? Okay. Who am I giving this pen to, David? Who am I giving it to?
How about Cyril?
You're right.
Thank you,
What a
sir.
job he's done. That's a good choice. Thank
That
you
was
very
nice.
much. I almost gave it to Howard. Thank you, everybody, very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you, guys. Keep moving.
All right, 8:16 Eastern Time. Good evening once again. This is Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's go back to President Trump now live.
Hello, everybody. What a nice group of Democrats. We do. We have a lot of Democrats, and we welcome you. Honestly, we do. And I think we're going to start working together in health care. I really predict that. How are you? Boy, I see some very friendly faces. I see some faces that are friendly, but they could be friendlier. But I think we're going to do great, and we've got a lot of good things to happen. We know our First Lady, she worked so hard on making this so beautiful. And the decorations, she's been given wonderful reviews for the trees and all of the Christmas decorations, so thank you very much. Thank you. So we have a very special Congresswoman with us, Julia Letlow. Where is Julia? And it was just announced, and in fact I just heard, that she went to the dip room where she officially announced, with a very handsome man, her engagement. Okay, where is Julia? Julia, where are you? Come on up. Julia. That's a big deal. Come on, Julia. Let's go, Julia. That's a big deal. That's bigger than, that transcends politics. Look at Julia. Oh, he's so lucky. He's the luckiest guy. He's a handsome guy, too. Hi, congratulations. Let me see that ring. Oh, that's a nice ring. That's fantastic. You want to say something?
Oh, no, sir. Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
thank you so much. The best president of my entire life, the entire United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you. Got a great woman. He's got a great woman. It's a fantastic couple. Thank you very much. So I want to just welcome everybody to the White House. It's a very special tradition. And it's interesting because all other times, oh, look, I have my favorite congressman. How are you, Congressman? You know, it's very interesting because all other Christmas occasions, everyone's quiet. When there are all politicians in the room, they talk right through a speech, and that's okay. I don't mind that. But I want to welcome you all to the White House. It's an honor to have you. It's a special place. You know, for 150 years, they've been trying to do a ballroom. They never got it up, but we got it off. And in a very short period of time, like about a year and a half, you're going to have the best ballroom anywhere in the country, anywhere. It is special, and they're going to be able to, we'll be able to host this in a larger setting. However, it won't be the same. So I think we'll keep this the same way. But we really did. We had a fantastic turnout. We had 12 different parties, and they asked me to go to speak at every party. And I did. I spoke at every single party. Then they announced, because of the fact that they have so many people, it's 11 people to turn down for everyone that makes it. So it's a very good feeling. But I did 11. Then they said, sir, would you do 2 more? I did 2 more. And I said, did Biden do this too? I don't think so. I would love it if he did. It would have been very interesting. But we have a lot of things happening. We have a congressional ball. We have so many different, but what we're really here to celebrate is Christmas. So I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it may be, it's going to be happy, and we're going to have a fantastic year. We have a fantastic year coming up. You know, never in our country have we had investment like has taken place over the last 10 months. We have $18 trillion plus already, and I think by the end of the year it'll be over $20 trillion. That's more than any nation anywhere in the world at any time by quadruple. In the previous administration, just to give you a little fact, not to be hostile, but they had less than $1 trillion over 4 years. So we have 18, I think we'll have 20, but we have 18 over 10 months. So that's some number. And with that automatically comes jobs. And today, for the 52nd day, we hit an all-time stock market high. And that's great. And that means 401ks, that means a lot of things are happening. It means jobs. And I think when the real numbers start coming out and when the real pollsters start doing the polls, I think you're going to see some really fantastic numbers. And that's good for Republicans, frankly, and Democrats. I want to, again, thank our First Lady for working so hard on this. She's done so well. It's the, let's see, she's done it 4 times. This would be the 5th time. And I would say this is the best, although I like the red trees. She got criticized for the red trees. Then I liked the white trees, and she was criticized for the white trees. Then I liked the green trees, and she got criticized, and she went back to green, and they love it. So I don't know what's going on. I think this is a little bit of a different administration maybe than the first. But I want to thank all of the great people in the room, both Democrat and Republican, who work so hard on behalf of our great nation. You're members of the greatest legislative body in the history of our country, history of the world, really. And we have the greatest nation anywhere in the world, and it's getting stronger, bigger, better. And I just want to thank you, because sometimes we don't work together, but we come up with great ideas together, and that is true. So tonight, we're going to set aside all political differences. We're not going to criticize each other. We're going to love each other. And we're going to come together not as Democrats and Republicans, but as fellow Americans to give thanks for this nation, which is so great indeed. And it's a tremendous, I think it's a tremendous tribute that, I think it really is. I think it's a tremendous tribute that so many Democrats have joined us tonight. High level. I know almost every single name on the list. It's a very impressive list, too, I must say. But let me also say a very special thanks to all of the spouses and loved ones here tonight. You make incredible sacrifices for us as politicians. I call myself now a politician. I never thought that was going to happen. But it happened. But none of what we absolutely do, whatever, would be possible without you. And I want to thank my great wife, my great First Lady for helping me. But every single one of you have been helped by your spouse. I want to also thank our really wonderful, great Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here. J.D., thank you. And Second Lady Usha Vance. Usha, thank you very much. Thank you, Usha. Also a man that a few of you might know, not very well, but you might know him. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Where's Mike? What a great job you're doing. What a great job. And most importantly, you have a wonderful, beautiful wife. Thank you very much. Say hello to the boys, okay? It's great to have you both. It's not easy to manage with a majority of 3. But we've been up to 7, and we sort of veer back and forth. But he's done a job, and he gets along very well with the Democrats. Sometimes I would say he gets along too well. That bothers me. We also have Senate Majority Leader John Thune here. Where's John? Where is John? One of the really good, thank you. Oh, wow, look at him. See, he always gives the best location to others. Thank you, John. Thank you for everything. You've done a great job. It's not easy, John. It's not easy. Thank you very much. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Where is Steve? Where is Steve, Mr. Speaker? I'll tell you what, I always say he's got great courage because he got hit real hard He got hit harder than I got hit. I got hit too, but I got a little, I have a throbbing feeling. He had much more than a throbbing feeling. In fact, I went to the hospital, and they actually thought he wasn't going to make it. His wife was devastated. She was crying. I tell the story. I found out that night you have a wife that loves you dearly. I know many wives would not even be crying. But your wife was absolutely a mess. She was crying. She was inconsolable, Steve. So we found that out, but he made it. And then he went about 4 months later. He could barely walk. He went and he played second base in the game between between you people, right? Republicans and Democrats. He could barely walk. He could barely stand. He was not going to be the great Bobby Richardson, all-star second baseman of the New York Yankees for 15 years. And this could only happen by God. A shot was hit to him so hard. I said, oh, no. And it went right at him. He fell to his knees, which was his only option because he couldn't bend. This was not a good-looking picture. He knocked down the ball, picked it up, could barely grab it, threw it to first base. The runner, who was actually a very good Democrat athlete, was out. And I said and I've told this, that was a miracle. That was a miracle. And then brilliantly, after one hitter, the manager took him out of the game. Because there was no way that he was going to outdo that one. So, Steve, it's great that you're here, and we love you, Steve, and you went through a lot. Majority Whip Tom Emmer, a fantastic guy with a fantastic spouse. Where is Tom? Tom is a great guy. I don't know what you're going to do about Minnesota. Where? Oh, there he is. He's a handsome devil, isn't he? With an unbelievable wife who puts up with a lot of stuff. She does not have an easy job, Tom. You are a difficult man. And Tom is very friendly with the Somalians. He's doing a great job. He's a big fan. He's a big fan of Somalia. Anyway, he said, please correct that. Thank you, Tom, very much. Thank you. He's a great guy. He's done a fantastic job, and we really appreciate it. And you have so many members of the House and the Senate, but I just want to thank a few of them, and I do mean it. I think it's fantastic that we're all here together tonight. We have cabinet members, and we have Marco is here, Scott Bessent is here. We got them all sort of here, every single one. I won't call them out because they're not names that are going to get huge applause from this very substantially Democrat audience. But you know what? They're working toward making America great again. It's very simple. We are making America great again. I saw it today on a somewhat leftish broadcast. They were saying, whether you like it or not, these numbers are starting to get very good, and they are, and that's good for all of us. But during the season of joy and peace, we have so much to celebrate as a nation. Because 1 year ago, we really were. We were a country that was in serious trouble. There were those that say we were a country that was really not going to make it. And they were saying we were not going to make it. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. They're all saying it. Other leaders are saying it. The European nations are saying it. The European nations are reporting that your president might as well be the leader of the European nations also. They listen to us, and they respect us like they've never respected us before. So we're going to work very hard. We get along with them. We want to get along with as many nations as we can. We've been ripped off by a lot of them for a lot of years, and frankly, a lot of the Democrats knew that better than some of the Republicans. But we've been ripped off and taken advantage of by friend and foe. And in many cases, friend was worse than foe, but not anymore. We have, I don't know if you noticed, the deficit was cut down by 64%. Nobody's ever heard of a number like that. You know why? A thing called tariffs. The tariffs are so big and so substantial. And it was just announced 2 weeks ago, the deficit's cut down by, nobody ever heard of a number like that. If the deficit goes down by 2%, it's like a great thing. The tariffs have reduced the deficit by 64%. Nobody has ever seen. And frankly, we haven't even started yet. It's given us strength. We've solved 8 wars. Think of it, 8 wars have been solved. Although Thailand and Cambodia, I think I'm going to have to make a couple of phone calls on Thailand, but we'll get that one back on track. But think of it, we've solved 8 wars. That's never happened. And more Americans are working today than ever before in the history of our country. We've never had anything like it. We have more Americans working today than at any time, by far, in the history of our country. And 100% of all new jobs have been created, 100% created in the private sector. I mean, that's a big factor, right, Virginia, right? Also, just announced, real wages are up for the typical worker by more than $1,000 a year. That's a record, $1,000 a year. And many of you in Congress worked very hard, both sides, this year to keep the promises that you were elected on and to deliver big wins for the American people. And Democrats worked very hard, too. I mean, I think you could get rid of a couple of your little policies like men and women's sports, open borders, transgender for everybody. But other than that, I like what you're doing. You passed the largest tax cuts in American history. We all did that. We passed the largest spending cuts in American history. And we have the largest regulation cuts by far in American history. All of these things we just passed. You passed the Lake and Riley Act to get criminal aliens off the streets so they don't kill our people, hurt our people, mug our people, slice up our people, which is what they did. They're not doing it so much because crime is way down. And you passed the Genius Act to unleash a new era of financial innovation. And on a bipartisan basis, working with a woman named Melania. Have you heard of Melania? But working with our great First Lady, you passed the Take It Down Act to protect our nation's youth from some horrible people. And I think, I'm not sure, this is hard to believe. I believe this is correct. It was just about a unanimous vote, to which I said, maybe you should be doing my job, because I don't get one vote. You know that did anybody vote against it? Even Rand Paul voted for it, right? Because Rand Paul's an automatic no vote. He's not a Democrat vote, but he's an automatic no. Everybody voted. I think it was just about unanimous. I can't believe it. She came home. I said, I heard you got a unanimous vote. Yeah, she looks at me like, what was the big deal? But that was a great thing that she did, and a great thing that all of you did. Very soon I'll hopefully be signing a National Defense Authorization Act that makes a historic investment in the United States military, which I think most people want to see. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you in the coming year to make our nation stronger, safer, wealthier, healthier. And I really believe we can work on health care together and come up with something that's going to be much better, much less expensive for the people, less expensive for our nation, but really most importantly, better and less expensive for the people. And we have an idea that rather than making these massive payments where their stocks went up 1,700% over a short period of time, the insurance companies, we make beautiful, big payments directly to the people, and they buy their own health insurance. And it's so good and so popular, and everybody wants it. And I think, frankly, a lot of the Democrats are going to want it too. It's been a very popular, ever since I uttered those words about a month ago, it's been very, very popular. So hopefully we can get that done together. So I want to just say in closing, you're going to have a fantastic evening. This food is unbelievable. The White House is known for great food, and it's better than that. And it's a great house. It's a special, special place. I've had a lot of nice houses, but I have to tell you, this house, it's just special. It's one of the reasons that every one of these events, all of them, are packed, sold out, waiting room. They're begging to come. People love the White House, and people love our country, and we love the Republicans, and we love the Democrats, so we love everybody else. We love everybody, especially tonight. Now, tomorrow I'll have to deny I ever said that, but that's okay. So I want to thank you. Maybe our First Lady would like to say something.
Good evening. Welcome to the White House. As the President said, our greatest triumph in my office, in the First Lady office in 2025 is Take It Down Act. I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate your bipartisan, overwhelmingly bipartisan support, and across the House and the Senate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker Johnson. And I hope you will be excited to support my new legislative initiative in 2026. Some of you already know about it because it's already in the works. Thank you very much. I wish you and your families a very happy and Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year. Thank you.
Well, I just heard about that for the first time. The only thing I can tell you, I know one thing for sure, Mr. Speaker. It's going to be great. It's going to be great for children. Okay? I don't know what it is she's doing, but I know it's going to be great for children because she loves children, and she's got a wonderful boy, and she's very proud of her boy, but she loves children, and if she puts it out, it'll be maybe unanimous again, or whatever that was, but very close, unanimous again. I want to thank you all. Have a great Christmas, a great Hanukkah, and a fantastic year. But we're going to have a great 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. We're going to make it great. Our country is going to be strong, safe, rich. It's going to be great. We're going to make America great again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, there you go. President Trump speaking at the Congressional Ball inside the Grand Foyer of the White House. So beautiful night there as you see 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Before we get to the announcement from the great Mike Lindell about Minnesota, we'll have more details about that in just a second and some other news that we're tracking. Let's go to a few of our sponsors right here live on Right Side Broadcasting Network. You see All Family Pharmacy, and here at RSBN, we always try to point you toward companies that actually support your freedom and give you real choices. And that's exactly why we trust All Family Pharmacy. They're not your traditional pharmacy pushing flu shots. All Family Pharmacy is different. They give you options, encourage you to take charge of your health, stay prepared, and have the right medications on hand before sickness hits. And of course, during the holidays, that's important. The travel, the cold weather, the family gatherings. This is when everyone, unfortunately, can get sick. So why wait until someone is miserable and you're scrambling for appointments or pharmacy lines? All Family Pharmacy has everything your family might need. Antivirals, antibiotics, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, mebendazole, even emergency kits and supplements. All doctor reviewed and delivered fast to your door. And while you're out doing your holiday shopping, there's nothing wrong, of course, with adding a few essential medications your family might need. You can stock up, stay prepared, and keep your family healthy this season. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN and use code RSBN10 for 10% off your order. Let's also go to Monetary Gold. Wall Street veterans are actually sounding the alarm. Many now say gold can climb to get this $7,000 per troy ounce. But that's before President Trump finishes his term. And this isn't wild speculation. Experienced investors, economists, and portfolio managers are tracking the indicators: soaring national debt, unchecked government spending, and a dollar that's losing purchasing power by the day. So what's even more revealing is the behavior of central banks. They're trimming their exposure to U.S. treasuries and increasing their gold reserves. They recognize that pattern. They know that paper currencies eventually fail, but gold has remained a reliable store of value throughout history. And that's why we rely on Monetary Gold. With more than 25 years in business, an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and top 5 rankings from Consumer Affairs and Retirement Living, they've earned a reputation for trust and expertise. Their specialists bring over a century of combined experience helping Americans safeguard their savings. So if you've been waiting for the right moment, you're looking at it. Don't sit on the sidelines as the dollar continues to weaken. Silver and gold remain time-tested assets for defending your purchasing power. So just call that number you see there on your screen, 888-617-7994, or visit rsbnforthegold.com. before the next major move in the gold market. Now, results can vary. Always consult with your financial and tax advisors before investing. Monetary Gold, great sponsor here at Right Side. One more sponsor before we get to Mike Lindell when it comes to an announcement that he recently made. Do you owe back taxes or haven't filed in years? Well, now is the time to resolve your tax matters. With a national conversation around abolishing the income tax system, the IRS is fighting back and proving it's here to stay by becoming more aggressive than ever before. And they're sending out more collection notices, filing more tax liens, and collecting billions more than in recent years. And if you owe, the IRS could take your wages, bank accounts, Social Security, retirement, and even your home. So if you owe or haven't filed, it's not a question of if the IRS will act, it's just when. And right now, Tax Network USA is offering a completely free IRS research and discovery call to show you exactly where you stand and what they can stop before it's too late. So their powerful programs and strategies can save you thousands or even eliminate your debt entirely if you qualify. So don't make a serious mistake representing yourself or calling the IRS on your own, waiving your rights and costing you more money. They aren't on your side, but you can get protected the right way with Tax Network USA and start the process on settling your tax matters once and for all today. Call 800-958-1000, 800-958-1000. You see that other number there, but the new number, 800-958-1000, or you can click the link there and check it out. Tax Network USA. Great sponsor here at Right Side. 8:42 Eastern Time. I'm Matthew Alvarez. You're watching RSBN Live in the prime time hours, 8:42 Eastern, looking live at the White House there, of course. Let's go now to an announcement from the great patriot, Mike Lindell.
Many of you already know me. You know that I was a crack cocaine addict along with many other addictions. And you also know that by the grace of God that I overcame my addiction to drugs on January 16, 2009. You also know that I founded the Lindell Recovery Network to help others overcome their addictions. You know that I founded the amazing, successful company, MyPillow. You know that MyPillow and myself have spent millions providing aid to hurricane victims, flood victims, fire victims, struggling inner cities, and of course those struggling with drug addiction. I was the media darling. They'd say, Mike, how many former addicts are you hiring? How many veterans are you hiring? And they would say, wow, your company, you're the American dream on steroids. And then in the summer of 2016, I met Donald Trump on August 15, 2016 in a divine appointment. He reached out to me to discuss how, MyPillow, how is it making all your products here in the USA? And from that point on, the media turned on me. Of course, you all know the story. They've attacked me ever since. You also know that on February 18, 2017, I gave my life to Jesus Christ. I had a few months later, I went on to lead over 50,000 people in prayer at U.S. Bank Stadium. I thought that was going to be my only calling, leading people to Jesus Christ. I had never voted. I didn't think politics mattered. Then along came the 2020 election. And you all know that I have been relentless in making people aware of the fraud in our elections. You know that others have used lawfare to tear me down because of my efforts. Our own federal government under Joe Biden launched Operation Arctic Frost to target me and others who wanted to secure our elections. They tried to take away my voice. They targeted my banks. They targeted my suppliers. They even took my phone, and I run my entire business enterprise off my phone. They didn't just attack me, they also went after my employee-owned company, MyPillow. Well, it didn't work. I'm still standing, MyPillow is still standing, and now I want you to know that I will stand for you as the next governor of the state of Minnesota. I will stand for you against the rampant fraud under Governor Walz. I will stand with you against the crime that threatens the safety of you and your families. I will stand for you against government-sponsored theft of your livelihood via exploding property taxes, excessive fees, and unfair sales tax. I'll stand for you against unnecessary regulations that strangle the entrepreneurial spirit. I will stand for businesses of all sizes, small, medium, large, doesn't matter. We need to defend those who provide our citizens with the jobs that they need so we can, in turn, take care of our families. I will stand for those of you that are struggling with addiction. I will stand for you by making Minnesota's education system one of the best in the nation. I am not alone in standing for you. I've never been alone. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ has been standing beside me all the way. Through the good times and the bad, he's never let me down. And with God's grace, I will never let you down either. Those who know me, they know I'm up to the task. I've had my finger on my pulse of my business operations, and we've all heard of the rampant fraud that occurred on the watch of Tim Walz. Either he was grossly negligent, incompetent, or complicit with the fraud. The governor is the chief executive of the state. He is responsible for the integrity of government operations under his authority. Everyone who knows me knows that I micromanage and macromanage my companies. I work tirelessly in making sure that we remove blocks and achieve our objectives. What does Tim Walz know about the operation of Minnesota's government programs? We know that over $1 billion in fraud under his watch has already been found. Whistleblowers from within Minnesota indicate that that fraud may reach as high as $8 billion. The entire fiscal year of Minnesota's budget in 2025 is $59 billion. The price of our state government has been inflated due to this fraud. This means that families are paying too much for government. Families have been taken advantage of, and others have not been taken care of. This means that businesses are drained of all the financial resources they need to hire new employees, to invest in new products, and to modernize existing operations. When it was leaked to the media that I was filing to run for governor of Minnesota, right here, that leak, the media pundits were quick to make comments like, what does Mike know about being a politician? Let me be clear, I don't want to be like a politician. It's professional politicians that have gotten us into all this trouble. Over the last 5 years, I have traveled all across this country to speak with politicians about election fraud. I've come to the conclusion that the vast majority of politicians are not concerned with our best interests. They're concerned with special interests, including their own self-interest. Many have hidden agendas that don't help any of us, and usually they're evil agendas. I want to be a leader, not a politician. I want to solve problems, not create problems. This is what I do. I solve problems. That's what I've always done. I've lived the American dream on steroids, solving one problem after another on the path to success. The role of government is to secure the rights of the governed. As a citizen and a business leader, I've already been working towards that end. I've been working to secure our voice at the voting booth against powerful enemies. These enemies don't care what you have to say. I do. They want to silence our voices. I put everything on the line to preserve it. As the next governor of Minnesota, I will stand for your rights. Together, we will restore respect for law and order. If you are here illegally, now's the time to leave, or you're going to be sent back where you came from. If you're stealing from Minnesota taxpayers, you need to be put in prison. If you're committed to increasing the tax burden on Minnesotans, you need to find a different line of work. We need to stop the explosion of property taxes. We need to stop excessive fees. We need to stop penalizing the brick and mortar businesses that provide jobs for our families. We need to ensure that our parents and teachers are empowered with the ability to choose the best education options for our kids. In short, we need to make government more about your needs and about your quality of life rather than the needs of those who crave the power to tell us how to live our lives. This means that you need a voice. They've tried to take away my voice. They tried to take away your voice. We can't let this happen again. That's why I'm standing for you. I'm standing for all of our God-given rights. The right to life, the right to liberty, the right to pursue happiness. The purpose of government is to secure these rights. Governor Walz and his supporters have instead been stealing these rights. This fraud needs to end now. If you will stand with me as the next governor of Minnesota, our future will be amazing.
And once again, Mike Lindell officially running for governor of Minnesota. He would definitely flip the script on what's going on in Minnesota right now, and he would do it with the right side of history in mind for the people of Minnesota. It'd be great to see something like that there in that state. And also a great statement there by Mike as well. The government should secure our rights, not steal our rights. He referred to President Thomas Jefferson's words in the Declaration of Independence, of course, that read, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." That's what it's all about right there. Our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, God, family, country, as you guys know. 8:51 Eastern Time. This brought to you by mypillow.com/RSBN. Of course, you just saw Mike Lindell there, of course, on the professional side of things when it comes to running for governor, also continuing that professional move when it comes to mypillow.com as well, as he was doing that announcement from his factory there in Minnesota. So if you'd like to purchase a number of items, you can do so, mypillow.com/RSBN. You'll get a great discount there, but also it's perfect timing for Christmas. It's December 11th. So if you could purchase a few products, go ahead and do so. mypillow.com/RSBN. Also, this brought to you by Tax Network USA. Tax Network USA. So if you owe back taxes or maybe you haven't filed in years, now's the time to resolve your tax matters. And you can do so with Tax Network USA, especially with that national conversation around abolishing the income tax system. The IRS is actually fighting back and proving that it's here to stay by becoming more aggressive than ever before. They're sending out more collection notices, filing more tax liens, and collecting billions more than in recent years. So if you owe, the IRS can take your wages, bank accounts, Social Security, retirement, and even your home. And if you owe or haven't filed, it's not a question of if the IRS will act, it's just when. So right now, Tax Network USA is offering this completely free IRS research and discovery call to show you exactly where you stand and what they can stop before it's too late. So they're powerful programs and strategies. They can save you thousands or even eliminate your debt entirely if you qualify. So don't make that serious mistake representing yourself or calling the IRS on your own. You'll be waiving your rights and cost you actually more money. They're not on your side there, but what we do know is if you get protected the right way with Tax Network USA, you can start that process on settling your tax matters once and for all today. 800-958-1000. Go to Tax Network USA right there, tnusa.com/RSBN. Also, finally, if you'd like to donate to Right Side Broadcasting Network, all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801 or rsbnetwork.com/donate. Always good to have extra cash so we can continue to expand here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's 8:54. My name is Matthew Alvarez. Thank you so much for watching. It is freedom versus tyranny, truth versus lies. And we know what side we're on. We know what side the majority of the country's on. So let's keep on keeping on. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You can scan that QR code now, RSBN10. That is the code, easy to remember, for 10% off. This is ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, antibiotics that will save you and yours from bacterial and viral infections, NAD+, and much, much more. 200 essential medications and emergency medical kits, the meds you trust delivered to your door.